Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? See, we all got some pain to deal with, even you and Angel. That's why we handle Chiron in the first deacon of Aries. Where is your first wound? What are you doing to heal it? Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. This is DJ Occult Metaphysics, and you're listening to Woke Radio 36.9 FM. Today, we've got the shift report with the Hood Mystic. Today's topics, Chiron and Aries through the houses. Remember, we're diving deep, so make sure you got your scuba gear. But first, roll up your favorite party favor, tell the kids to be quiet, Hood is about to go live. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your favorite nephew. We about to go in. This is the shift report, where shift happens.
The 3 L's, loving, laughing,
and whatever.
living. Living.
Said I've had my fun.
Yeah.
If I don't get well no more, yeah. I said I've had my fun, people. And if I never get well no more, I said my health is failing me. I think I'm going down slow. I don't want you to do nothing but just moan. Say,
Just moan.
Baby. Papa's got a brand new bag.
Baby, 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 baby.
Just open the door and I'll get it for myself.
Now, baby, baby, say it one more time.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
Now, what should I do right here? I don't know what love is, but I think I got it bad. But I think I got it bad. I got it bad. I know. Said I don't know, 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 I don't know. But I think I got a little bit of it bad. It ain't no fun in missing the things you want. But it's so bad when you miss the good things that you once have had. Now what about it, B? I don't claim to be no gambler. I tell you I don't know much about the dice. I want you to listen to me. Oh, I don't claim to be no gambler. I tell you, I don't know much about the dice. But now I want you to hear this, Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
But I'll wage, and my baby knows. Bobby, she knows he ain't the kind that's gonna crap out twice.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.
Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? See, we all got some pain to deal with, even you and Angel. That's why we handle Chiron in the first deacon of Aries. Where is your first wound? What are you doing to heal it? Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. This is DJ Occult Metaphysics, and you're listening to Woke Radio 36.9 FM. Today, we've got the shift report with the Hood Mystic. Today's topics, Chiron and Aries through the houses. Remember, we're diving deep, so make sure you got your scuba gear. But first, Roll up your favorite party favor, tell the kids to be quiet, Hood is about to go live. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your favorite nephew. We about to go in. This is the Shift Report, where shift happens.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Today is a special day because we're talking about Chiron and Aries transit. We're going through all houses from first to the 12th house. We'll talk about how you can figure that out in your personal chart if you don't know by now. But if you do know already, go ahead and get your transit chart out and begin to match Chiron and Aries to your chart so you will know what house it is in. Before we get into that, I just want to, intro everything, prepare you for everything, and then get into each house by house specifically. Just want to thank everybody over on Substack that's watching live, everybody on YouTube that's watching live, and everybody on Twitch. As we get into the conversation, just want to say I'm grateful for everybody watching, those known and unknown. But if you want to make an impact on the visibility of this channel, make sure you take the 3 seconds to like the video, whether you're watching this live or post live. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. For those that are on Substack, when this video posts, you will be able to read through all of this and you will see what you'll be able to read. Just so if you haven't subscribed to the Substack, first of all, what's wrong with you? And third of all, go ahead and do that. Okay. So I had a graphic that magically disappeared once I started going live. So let me see if I can find that graphic again. I'm gonna just probably have to search it up. Because basically, I remember how I found it. We're talking about a rising sign, or we're talking about Chiron through the houses. And I just wanted to elucidate people with the ways of which we come to that understanding, because it's very, very important in understanding astrology, where astrology is like, it's just so many different concepts and different things that people will be talking about. Very rarely, right, do you apply the knowledge to you personally. It's like these stars in the sky, and then it's you, so separate. But when you get into the rising sign, so throughout the day, the constellations rotate around the earth sort of like a clock, meaning that, let's just imagine 10 a.m. That is when Virgo is in the eastern horizon of the sky. That's why city and state is very important when trying to figure out your rising sign, because a rising sign in Russia is going to be a different rising sign in Boston, Massachusetts, because they have a different eastern horizon. So as the world turns, for lack of better words, roughly every hour there is a different rising sign that takes the mantle, and then the next hour is a different rising sign. But the thing about sidereal astrology and Placidius, which is the house system in the astrological chart, to determine an astrological chart, you can pick different systems. So you can pick whole sign astrology with Western astrology, or you could do whole sign astrology with sidereal, or you could do Placidius with sidereal. It just, whatever system resonates with you, the thing is, you should learn it and be well versed in it. Not like, I know this system because this is the right system. No, I utilize this system because it makes the most sense to me, right? And so for me, it's a sidereal house system, which is aligned with the constellations. No constellation is the same. That's why, from a sidereal point of view, if you were born in the morning, you're more likely to be a Virgo rising, such as myself. I was born at 10 a.m. I'm a Virgo rising. And the reason that you're more likely to be a Virgo rising is because Virgo is the largest constellation. It's 52 degrees long. So figuring out your time of birth, super important to any conversation in reference a transit through the house. Now, you can ask your mother what time you were born and make a rough estimate, which is better than nothing, right? But if you just have no idea what time you were born, is just completely foreign to you, the second thing that you could begin to do is do this. So we got astrology in the body. All right. This is my next step. If you don't know your time of birth, you have no idea. You're not even fully sure on the day for real. You was born in a remote village where they didn't even keep records, things of that nature. So along this spectrum, I'm not going to get into everything what everything means, but think about your most problemsome area in your body. Do you have back problems? Do you have intestinal problems? Do you have, reproductive problems? Do you have hip pain? Where is the pain in your body? And this is for the people who do not know their time of birth. The area where you have the most pain correlated to a astrological sign, and for all intents and purposes make that your rising sign. So when you have, just say, your toes hurt all the time and you can't explain it, you might be an Aries rising, because when you are referencing astrology, you are referencing a healing modality. So of course, entering into, well, my form of astrology anyway, entering into a mode where you're not all the way 100%. You might have, issues, like I said, with your toes. I would say study astrology, study your rising sign to improve those pains, or improve, like if you have back problems and things of that nature. See, I'm a Virgo rising, and when I was a child, well, first I was a Libra rising in Western astrology, but Libra and Virgo, they kind of like merge into one astrological area in the sky. And I bring that all up to say, when I was a child, I had a kidney deficiency. I went to the hospital like real young over it. So if I had to determine my time of birth based upon an issue that was prevalent when I was in my youth, and probably prevalent to this day, that's why I can't really drink and all of that, I would know I don't got no other problems. I never been to the hospital for nothing else seriously besides my kidneys, which would give me the area of Libra Virgo rising. So, what is the importance of the houses in astrology? Very simply, if I present to you a concept such as like a grocery store, and I just tell you about the concept of a grocery store, and you ask me, well, can I go to a grocery store? And I tell you, yeah, you can. But I don't tell you where a grocery store is at. I don't tell you how to find it, and I don't just tell you what's in the grocery store. I just say grocery stores is awesome. They're divine. And I don't give you no direction, nowhere to access it. That grocery store is still a conceptual concept. Conceptual concept is crazy. But anyway, it's not tangible. Even though you could walk, I got a Kroger right down the street on 8 Mile. I could walk straight to this Kroger, go in it and everything. It's accessible to me. It's not abstract. It's not a concept. It's a reality. So when you're studying astrology, and I like, well, what house is Aries in your chart? You have no idea, but you know what Aries mean, you know what Chiron mean, but you don't know where it's at in your chart. These concepts will remain abstract to you. And when we're talking about spirituality, a lot of people are perfectly fine with it being abstract because the teachers are not taking the time to explain it in a space where it could be applicable, where it could be relatable. And as a studier of astrology, I'm coming into this understanding. That's why I'm really just taking the time to walk through it so those who want an understanding can gain an understanding and then apply the knowledge of Chiron, which is so important because what is taking place is that things are coming to the surface. And if I say it's coming to surface in this area of my chart, that don't mean it's coming to the surface in the same way that is coming to surface in your chart. So understanding the house placement is very, very important. And trust me, I understand that what I'm referencing might sound complicated at first because you have to learn and you have to be put in an uncomfortable position of staring at an astrology chart, not knowing what you're looking at, and still be able to parse out information. However, the more you do it, the easier it is. Just like anything else, understanding the house is the first step. Correlating what that house means to you is the second step. Now, why in the world would you talk about astrology and never correlate it to what it means to you? And ever since I've discussed astrology, every book that I've written, I've hammered home this part. You're going to need to journal correlations and correspondence in your own language because your personal experience is the filter for the truth. And if you don't work that filter down, this shit remains abstract. So you might say, Hood, I don't know what Aries is, what house Aries is in my chart. Don't worry, I got you. Mm, I thought I did. Hold on, let me give y'all a get. I put the wrong link. That's why you gotta double check and check again. All right. So what I'm trying to get to is my worksheets. So yeah, and I'm trying to pull up the worksheet so y'all can see it. And once I upload this, because I haven't even uploaded this onto Substack, because I wanted to upload the video and the article at the same time. So once I upload the article and the video gets finished processing, I will put this all on one Substack post, all of the information that y'all seeing, so y'all can have it for y'all records. And right now, and I just want to show y'all just a more or less a visual and go through the worksheet, because I'm telling you, if you study in astrology and you have no idea what house Gemini is in your chart, what does Gemini even mean to you, and how do you even apply that energy? How do you even apply it? Oh my goodness gracious. How do you even apply it accurately in your life within your particular development? So what happens with spirituality, where it's easy to get lost at what's taking place, is because everything is abstract and it don't really matter for real. It is not letting me log in to finally shit. Cause me, I got that type of personality. If I can't do it, I will sit and figure it out until I'm able to do it. Maybe that's a mental disease or something, but that's just the way I am. Like, it don't matter. I'll be anywhere and I'm put in a situation where I gotta figure something out. Baby, we gonna be there all day till I figure that shit out.
It's always been a subtle war between spiritual.
Have it now. So this is the Chart Your House's worksheet. So first things first, you'll pull up a transit chart. You could just Google a transit chart, but I use AstroSeek. Right under their birth chart, you will see something that say transit chart. You want to click that. You want to enter in the date, the actual date, which would be July 29th. Then you would enter in your birth date, and it's going to give you two charts, right? The outer chart is going to be the chart for the day, and the inner chart is going to be your personal chart, where it's going to have the house numbers. So you're just correlating the outside chart to the inside chart. So if the transit Aries is in your first house, then you just write it down. And then you have like a little cheat sheet for what each house means: second house finances, third house communication. Now, when you reference these particular things, such as second house finances, that means something. Finances to Bill Gates means something completely different to Rollo down the street selling dime bags. So once you get grounded in every house that every sign is in your chart, you have a journal. Hopefully throughout the year, you practice referring to it so you just get more comfortable. I'm a ninth house Gemini, you know. I'm a 10th house Cancer. I'm an 11th house Leo, so forth and so on. And when you begin to get the houses to you begin to understand the houses, then you understand the particular concepts related to the houses, and then ultimately what those houses mean to you. Because when we talking about a chart, it don't matter what I think about it. Even if you do get a chart reading, you gonna still have to live your life. So within this article, you'll get the resources. I'll do some editing. Make sure that all these links work so you can get the worksheet. You can also click this link, it'll bring you right into a transit chart. So it's a part in the article where it says this article focuses explicitly on Chiron and sidereal astrology, where it's currently appearing in the early degrees of Aries. Talk about that next. In the first decan. So your first step is to figure out which house early Aries falls into your chart. So when you click in your chart, you can enter in the daily information in correspondence with your birth chart information and be able to do any deducing. Once again, you can also join the Discord, and within the Discord, you can screenshot your chart or your transit chart and ask a question related to, good, I heard what you said, I followed directions, and I still don't have no idea. Me or whoever is in the chat at that time can easily help you figure this stuff out. So once again, if you're new to this sounds so confusing. That's just because you're new to it. But the more you deal with it, the more it's just like, this makes sense now. This, okay. And then the key to this, and I'm gonna stress this, you have to relate it to yourself. So let's talk about this particular transit, which we're going to focus in on. We're talking explicitly about Chiron in Aries in this first decan. So, as a quick little demonstra, is that even real, that word? Demonstra? That sounds better than demonstration to me. So, I'm going to keep that one. So, I've clicked Sidereal Transit Chart. Share this tab instead. So, boom. I have to edit birth data. My birth chart, let's go August 23rd. Shout out to Kobe. August 23rd, 1984. Shout out to that one book that said that the world was going to get crazy called 1984. They was accurate. They was accurate. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts. Shout out to the Beantown. Right now I'm in Detroit. It's all about accuracy and validity. So boom, this is what I was talking about. So because sometimes shit get wonky on AstroSeek. Right here it says house system, no houses. So this where you would click, and so once again, you could look at all of these different house systems. Whatever you study, whatever makes the most sense to you, go crazy. And the thing about it, when you study different things, all of the things that you study in astrology, guess what? It will prove some form of accuracy. The key is understanding that's not the only way. And then also is based upon your amount of study in a particular system. But I will venture into a different house system right now. At a certain point, just not right now. So, boom. I've clicked Placidius, and now we have the chart breakdown. This circle, this dominant circle would be the constellations. The outer circle with the more orange tone symbols and glyphs are the transits of the day. The inner circle is going to be my birth planets. The innermost circle is going to be the houses. So we really want to lock into the innermost circle and the outermost circle and correlate what, since we're dealing with a particular planet, which would be Chiron. Chiron is transiting my seventh house in Aries. So the things that are in Chiron, boy, it take its time, okay, guys? And having Chiron in any house is a big deal. It matters. It's like this was coming to the surface. It's the wounds. And for me to have Chiron in the seventh house, it makes all of the sense in the world of the things that are coming to the surface inside of me that are to be healed and then to be taught. So when we are breaking down Chiron, we will be breaking down Chiron in three ways. And I'll actually get to that. But in order for me to get to that, I have to explain what Chiron is and what Chiron represents. Because it is an asteroid to where it orbits the sun. An asteroid that orbits the sun, it has an orbit, meaning that we could track it astrologically. Its metaphysical key is that of the archetype of the wounded healer. Therefore, when the wounds come to the surface, we figure out modalities to heal those wounds, but it does not stop there in reference to Chiron. Chiron is the thing for which you teach the world. So it is broken up into three parts. Chiron is going to bring a wound to the surface that is going to enter into a healing modality that looking forward, in order to stay on top of this particular energy, it is imperative that you assist others in either healing that wound or making sure the wound never occurs. This is a full circle moment to that wound because the work that you do within the community, the work that you do towards other people solidifies the reason for you going through that wound in the first place. So many people sit with their wounds and they don't grow or heal from those wounds. We're talking about stagnation. We're talking about trauma. We're talking about survival mode. We're talking about not being able to see the light because the pain or the wound is so visceral. When Chiron enters into Aries, it brings out that primal wound. A wound in reference to me would be a relationship wound that obviously I haven't completely healed from because I'm still dealing with the wounds coming from the surface. So the healing and the teaching goes hand in hand. And that's the key part of Chiron. When you get into the mythology, he was a teacher and he taught in the wound that he could not heal himself. But our love and our joy to assist others is something that needs to be cultivated only through healing. Because when you are in your pain, you can't even factor in how your story is going to help others. Only through healing are you able to reflect and say, wow, this story can help others. And guess what? It does. the older, I'm not even going to say the older, but the more advanced I get through life, the more that I see people are go through the same thing that I went through. And I have advice to say, oh, you don't even need to go through that. Or since you did go through that, this is how you get out of that. So once again, in reference to Chiron, this is not random. This is not just something that's just happening. This is something that it represents an initiation. It represents a primal. It represents a start. And a lot of times we go so far ahead in our lives that we lose sight. And when we talk about groups, when you reference in shadow work or primal healing, a large percentage of the people say it's something blocking me. I just don't know what it is. Right. So therefore, we get into Chiron and Aries as a study point through the houses to help you figure out what it is. Okay. So this is character development. This is personal development. This is trial and error. This is learning from your mistakes. So within this video, which will be timestamped, it is supposed to help you understand what Chiron and Aries means for you right now, also known as what is coming up, why is it coming up this way, teach you how to administer said healing, and three, give you a vision on how to move forward or what it would look like if you prioritize the healing over just prioritizing the pain. So, without further ado, we are about to get into the first house of Chiron. Well, basically this. Where is Chiron and Aries at in your housal system? And for that, if you have any questions on how to figure that out, please join the Discord. You can ask the chat. I'm sure people will help you in the chat. This is something that, I've been talking about this whole entire year in reference to astrology. But with that being said, we must continue and be repetitious in the form of spiritual truth because it's not so much of this great advancement, but more of learning the accurate principles to get the results that we absolutely need and knowing how to do it. So, for those who have Chiron and Aries in the first house, the wound that is coming up, because the first house deals with being seen, being understood, being poured into, right? And you might be experiencing that, but you still might feel unseen, misunderstood, not really ready to assert yourself because it is a core wound. Like first house, Aries, it's something into how you want to be ultimately received. And when you look at the first house, we're talking about all of your relationships, all of your business, all of how your family treats you, and your ability to process it or heal that. Because Chiron will present a wound in the first house. So, not to say you might be ugly, but your sister might be gorgeous, not to say that you might be untalented, but your sister might be Beyonce, right? And like you have this wound that you don't have physically what you want. Okay. First of all, welcome to the club. I'm the president. Second of all, what is going to bring you healing is not accomplishing your external goals. but figuring out why you feel that way in the first place and feeling that part of you that is empty on the inside. Because it is empty on the inside, it's easy to see something on the outside and say, that's my problem. I don't have that. I'm overweight. I don't have any money. If I just lose weight and get money, everything will be fine. And when you look at Chiron in the first house, it's like, yeah, everything will be fine if you know how to do it. Because when we're dealing with this particular level of consciousness, it's a level of sabotage that stagnates you. So when we're talking about how Chiron shows up in your chart, you know very well that you want to start a business, or you know you have trauma towards your father or your mother or some shit like these things are clear to you, but the lack of healing in these areas, you don't get no distance or no leeway in it, because it's psychological, because it's debilitating, because it's stagnating, and the observation of it is not the healing of it. So when Aries and Chiron come together in the first part of your chart, this is a very primal wound. And when we reference a primal wound, think of like a primal man or a primal woman that lives honestly in reference to their goals, whether it be longevity, they eat that way, they exist that way, they live that way, they're unapologetic, right? They move off the grid or whatever it is that they do, right? I'm sure Chiron and Aries, first house, first person to ever get a BBL had that placement, right? They doing that. They walking around this bitch knocking buildings down. And what you gonna say? Your ass gonna be looking like, damn, that ass is fat. See, we ain't gonna talk about the complications and all of that. We talking about pure primal aesthetics and getting what you want, or you gotta constantly live with the trauma of people calling you pancake, 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 pancake. Right now, all of a sudden, right, you cake, 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 and they ain't saying shit. So when another part of the healing is getting honest of the shit that's not sitting right with you, and apply pressure for it to begin to sit right with you. Because ultimately, when we look at first house Aries, we're looking at a person that have superpowers. That's like your healing is such a visceral experience. It's the person that do the carnivore diet, or the person that's like off the grid, like, or the person that do a body transformation and their body is absolutely T. Like, goddamn, like I ain't know you could get muscles. This nigga got a six pack in his forehead. It was crazy, right? So first house is being seen. When you seen, you seen, like people see you, like, versus like it could be a way where you exist in a world where you never seen, you just kind of, nobody knows. I work at, my little call center. I like it pay me. I go home, drink my tea, drink my coffee, watch my YouTube videos, just regular stuff. If you got Chiron and Aries in the first house, it's like, nope, you literally got to reinvent the way that you receive so that you are like it's polarizing. All right, now let me find out. let me find out. So, second house. The second, so we're talking about Chiron and Aries, which is going to be a transit. And for those who have Chiron in the second house, this is the house of finances. So when we talk about wounds, it don't mean that you broke. It could be quite the contrary. You could be very more or less good with money, but when we deal with Chiron, we're dealing with the motivation as to why you're so good with money. More or less, I'm afraid to be homeless. I'm afraid to be broke. So you hoarding money, you got money in the basement, you got money in the whatever, money everywhere, but it's not bringing you joy. Like on Jubilee, they just had a guy 20 questions. They'd be doing that immerse where they get like 20 people and just ask you questions type shit. And this billionaire, he was like, man, I'm rich, but I don't be spending money like that. Like you would be surprised how I don't be really even spending money. So, and I'm talking about people like that, billionaires, millionaires can still have a wound towards money to where you would be like, damn, I really need $20 to get a sandwich. And you might ask your millionaire friend, got 500K in the bank account, won't give it to you because they want to teach you a lesson. What is the lesson they trying to teach you? Based upon their own survival, in reference to their own safety. I got it. You better get it yourself. Now, when we reference Chiron, Chiron is a healer and a teacher. When you are a teacher, you are giving your time, your energy, your resources. You are in a space of pure giving. Now, Chiron in the second house, it don't even have to be money, but it could be in reference to your love, in reference to your time, in reference to your energy, where don't nobody get it. And one has to be able to examine themselves with this particular placement and say, shit, do I not know shit? Am I like dumb? Right? More or less, what can you begin to help people and teach besides, I got mine, you better get yours. I got mine, you better get yours. So therefore, this is where you take community college courses in reference to things that you want to teach or help people with. Because if you got yours already, and for the people that got Chiron in the second house that's broke, we're going to get to y'all in a second. But you got yours already. Chiron is in everybody's chart. Therefore, everybody have a mode that they can teach. So, how does this look like? You got your shit together, but you learn the bachata and you do a but now you don't even have to teach bachata. You can just play bachata music and rent out the hall. Like, oh yeah, we can rent out this hall to you every Friday for $5,000 for the year. You got 500K in your bank account. That $5,000 not gonna hurt you. Get them that 5K. Rent it out for Fridays. Fridays at the Kingdom Hall, not the Kingdom Hall. Shit. The lodge, the Elk Lodge. We having bachata night. Come through. We got chicken, wine. We just going to dance to the bachata all night. I rented it every Friday. In that experience, you able to teach people, you able to help people, but you just providing the ambiance in reference to your wealth. But when you not doing nothing for nobody, you got 50,000 in the bank. I ain't saying give people money. I'm saying give people something. Like give them nothing. Give them an opportunity to enjoy a Friday evening. Like think of something in a way to where you can help people with your wealth. Now, on the flip side, you got Chiron in the second house, and you ain't got shit going on for yourself. There within itself is the problem of value and inherent value. And every house would be related to the previous house, where the first house is cultivating energy within yourself. The second house is the same cultivation of that inner energy, but it is in reference to the voice. So when you get the voice traumatized out of you, shut up, I don't want to hear that, or you said something, people looked at you, or you did a talent show and they booed you off the stage. Now you feel a certain way about showing up. You're like, oh, I'm shy. I don't. It's a lot of different things that you got to begin to heal from, and a lot of it is value and inherent value. So when you think of the second house, it is the house of production, being able to produce. So what does that look like for a person that don't have money? What are you going to produce versus, okay, I don't know what I'm going to produce and it's getting to me, I'm getting stressed out. Okay, that is worry. That is a worry. That's a worry thing. So being able, the card that exemplifies this, and for me helping me work through this particular energy of worry, is the five of disc. So the five of disc. The five of this, also known as the five of pentacles, generally signifies material hardship, poverty, or insecurity, often accompanied by feelings of isolation and anxiety. So, once again, we're having material hardship, we're having poverty, we're having insecurity, and then we're not associating the anxiety, the worry, the negative thoughts, and correlating them to our hardship and our poverty. So we're going to have to enter into a system sooner or later, when Chiron is in the second house, that you begin to develop a way of thinking. So anxiety, you have to work through that anxiety. So once again, it's the money part, and then it's the mental part. The mental creates the physical, but you'll obsess about the physical and have a negative mental. So in reference to this particular energy, healing is coming up with a plan to help you work through anxiety. So once again, how do you work through anxiety with Chiron in the second house? It's by being productive. So you start in your living space. You clean the living space. You open up that notebook. You light a candle. You take a walk. You constantly are doing things towards acknowledging the anxiety, but also acknowledging the solution to get you past said anxiety. So, once again, you have an opportunity to be as successful as you want to be if you're able to understand the modality between mental health and material gain. And then what are you doing for your mental health that's healthy, that's consistent? What is the mental health plan? The diet? Man, it's a wild statistic, man. Now, many people, right, have died from heart disease, diabetes, things of that nature. So I just asked, like, what is the percentage of vegans that have type 2 diabetes? And one study found that 2.9% of vegans had type 2 diabetes, while 7.6% of vegetarians had diabetes. So when we talk about mental health in your diet, you eating that chicken, you eating that pork. I mean, it's cool. Do what you do. No judgment. But that's a crazy statistic. That literally shows you that type 2 diabetes come from the meat. Okay? Straight like that. So, third house. And so the second house, like the first house is like leading into the second house through inner cultivation, while the second house is leading into the third house through cultivation, mental health. Because where you have to cultivate your mental health before you get into any type of real situation. So imagine somebody who have horrible mental health and they get drafted by the NFL. It don't last long. So that's somebody who haven't worked through Chiron in the third house. Somebody who haven't worked through the third house, and versus somebody who have worked through the third house. So generally, and then talk about a relationship. How many times have y'all been in a relationship with somebody that was crazy as a box of rocks? They haven't cultivated their third house. And part of the third house is having a quality material existence. When you are impoverished, it's a vicious cycle of stress. So part of balancing your third house is balancing your second house. So when Chiron is in your third house, the struggle is in communication, but we understand the root of that struggle has to be some form of disconnect mentally. So Chiron and Aries is always going to be the first house because Aries is always the first house. So Aries is always how you are received or how you are seen. So communicating thus has to be an exercise between me and an audience, whether it's the people I work with, whether it's a literal audience and I'm performing on stage, whether it's my wife, whether it's the people that I'm teaching, I'm a professor, I'm teaching in school. Communication has to be received. So if you're not aware of this, and then one voice has to be mastered and alchemized to be received by many different people, or else, right, we'll easily isolate ourselves because nobody listens to me, nobody understands me. And The third house is just it's just like where you getting your shit together. But it's not going to stop you from wanting to do other stuff. So the issue then is in being able to communicate effectively, to be understood effectively, and then having the psychosis in reference to, damn, she don't like me, he don't like me, they don't like me. She ain't like when I said that. Let me cultivate, let me. Chiron and Aries is telling you gonna have to figure out your voice, and you can't figure out how people are responding to you. That's healing. Cause I'm gonna say something to you, and then I'm gonna be like, "How you feel about that?" I'm gonna say something to her, and I'm gonna be like, "How you feel about that?" I'm gonna drive myself crazy trying to figure out how people feel about what I say, and then I'm not even going to try to cultivate my voice. I'm trying to cultivate how you respond to me. Now, one thing is a modality of healing, which is cultivating my voice, and another thing is exercise in futility. Why? Because you can't control how people receive you. You might tell a person the truth, and they might hate you for that. And Chiron in third house is finding peace in the fact that because you've cultivated your voice, because you know what you want to say, and because what you are saying makes you feel good, your way of expressing yourself, it is going to your heart center, it is going to your soul. You have to take care of yourself in that regard, because when you enter into relationships where people receive you for your honesty, you would throw away all of those relationships that you would throw away all of those relationships that made you second guess or question yourself. So, whether it is speaking to Elon Musk or Donald Trump, or just speaking to your mama, telling her, you know what I'm saying, what you did in 1976, it just haven't set right for me. Or you want to like make it in music, because Gemini or third house is very much of a creative space as well. You're not going to be curating your niche in the world by following what Future is doing. You cannot be Sierra part two. You got to be you got to cultivate your own voice. And so Chiron and Aries is presenting you an opportunity to say, okay, you've had these particular traumas or letdowns. Let's write a song about it. Let's let's do something that's going to wake the people up. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do something different and speak to their souls. And when you expressing yourself, does it feel good? Or when you realizing you need to heal is when you like expressing yourself, and within that expression is like either you like you don't want to talk, you don't want to be creative. That's when you know you need to heal. Or you expressing yourself like to your kids, or you talking to your lover, and you reflect like, I don't like when I'm yelling at them, or I don't like when I'm talking negative to them. You got to really get into the space that when you talk to people, you are either teaching or healing or loving or building, because within this third house Chiron aspect, if you have brothers and sisters, you really got used to just talking to people any kind of way, right? You got to check that when you at work, because these people at your job, the people that you end up marrying and really building with, they not your brother nor they your sister. So healing that way. So It's cool when we getting to know each other, then you get comfortable with people and you start yapping. That's somewhere that's more of healing that have to take place on the internal. So I feel like because it's a mutable sign, you got to have these two perspectives, and then I'm gonna move on. When you do the work and you know that you're talking out of love, but you also know that it's going to actually hurt a person or they not going to receive it because it's in truth, that's okay. But the second part is when you don't do the work and you're still broken in some forms, mentally, emotionally, in your heart space, and you speaking from that, you like a fire breathing dragon. You're not like you're not right and exact because shit ain't happening your way. You just like took you just on it immediately. You have to take some steps back. And this is going to be in relation to your kids, in relation to your children, in relation to your partner, in relation to everybody around you. How you communicate to them can either come from a place of healing or it can come from a place of brokenness. And final point, how the external world is acting have no reason for your cosmic expression. So fourth house, which is the Cancer house. So Chiron and Aries in the fourth house that is ruled by Cancer. So the wounds that come to the surface during this time, which is going to be over the next 18 months, Chiron takes his time in a sign. During this time, if feelings or emotions come to the surface where you feel unsafe, you feel drained, you feel overwhelmed, I'm going to introduce a concept that many people are aware of, many people are not, of that's called emotional labor. So you are the generational curse breaker. You are the person that people are relying on to pay the bills or to get shit done. And because they rely on you, that's a burden. And over time, when you are obligated, when you are reliant upon to do a thing, and people just be like, oh, he got it or she got it, you're going to get exhausted. You're going to get drained. You're going to be overwhelmed. And then you're going to double back because you don't want to speak things into negative existence. You'll tell them, oh, I got it. It's all good. I can handle it. So, therefore, obligation, doing things because you have to do it. Because when you are Chiron and Aries, the womb is tied into how you was raised, your relationship with your mother, and maybe she made you do chores ever since you was 7. Or a key point, you had brothers and sisters, and you was responsible for your brothers and sisters while your mom had to work or your dad had to work. So this type of person had wounds in reference to being needed. But at the same time, guess what? You had needs too. So now you're an adult and you're trying to navigate through life. But the issue with Chiron and Aries navigation through life is that you're going to navigate based upon obligation. You're going to navigate based upon being needed. However, in order to heal, you have to navigate on how you feel. I told you I was a poet without ever knowing it. So that was just a bar for you. All right. Navigate how based upon how you heal is based upon navigating on how you feel. So responsibly, you have to enter into situations, into relationships, into circumstances that are vibrating on the positive feeling section. Now, if mom got to wash the dishes every day, she's obligated to wash the dishes every day, and her 12-year-old, 7-year-old, or 16-year-old can just play their Nintendo DS. Healing looks like putting up a schedule for your 16 and your 12-year-old of alternating days where they wash dishes so you could, as mom, feel different things because in the evening you might want to take a walk. You might want to go play some damn bingo. Whatever feels right, you have to start navigating this polarity. So, in studying this, Chiron and Cancer, Chiron and Scorpio, Chiron. So, Chiron and Aries in the fourth house, in the eighth house, and in the 12th house, which are ruled by Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. These feelings and the ability to navigate the world on how you feel might seem so foreign to you because you've been being strategic your whole life. You have been being practical and logical your whole life, and you have missed out on a whole entire center of gravity called your emotional reception, your emotional detection. Does this feel good or not? Because once again, when you are applying, so emotions come into play every day. And when those emotions come into, does this feel good? Does this feel right? Does this feel wrong? Does this feel right? Does this feel wrong? And you make decisions, this feels right. 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 You don't do things that don't, because you are trying to create a situation centered on healing, centered on shifting a part of you that has been shut down. That part of you that has been shut down, Chiron and Aries in the fourth house, is this feels good. Now, if you're not aligned with what feels good, you have to really begin to think, you got to really begin to process some shit. You got to touch with what feels good. You more in tune with obligation. You more in tune with roles and responsibilities and your life being filled with this. Your primal point of wound is being disconnected from what feels good. And over time, what you will, that alchemy will be transmuting all of that obligation into a life that feels good. So spiritually, you are born and you will die. That middle part is based upon not on what you accomplish, because you ain't going to heaven and the motherfucker say, well, damn, you was employee of the week five times. Your ass was a hard worker, my boy. Oh shit, you was a hard worker. Okay. You showed up to work every day on time. Okay, okay. Like, listen, when you transition outside of the body, none of that shit gonna matter. And you gonna waste days and opportunities and being able to relax, to enjoy, to just be calm. Because as we stated before, first house leads into the second house. They all leave a little trail, right? And the fucking third house leaves behind a little bit of mental instability, in reference to that emotional space where, and I tell you, more than living a life that is operating on a positive emotional spectrum, you're also being able to show up spiritually for your family. Because what feels good would be in reference to ancestor work. What feels good would be in reference to spiritual work. And obviously, you get there because when it comes to your spiritual work, guess what type of spiritual work you're supposed to be doing? The work that feels good. Okay. So now we're getting into the fifth house. And so we're discussing Chiron and Aries through the houses. And we're going through each and every house. We just finished the fourth house, which is ruled by Cancer, and the fifth house, which is ruled by Leo. So when you're dealing with Chiron and Aries, you're dealing with the interplay between a fire sign and then the element of the house. So Chiron and Aries, obviously a fire sign, in the fifth house, which is also a fire sign, that is double fire. That is double passion. And the way to like sum this energy up would be celebrity or great success in whatever it is that you try to do. So, not like celebrity on TV, but being well known for what you're able to do because of where you pulling this energy from. When we're talking about fire, we're talking about an energy source. That so fire is all around us, right? What do I mean? So if I light a match, I will create a a chemical a chemical combustion. And if I like very slowly move the match around, it's highlighting all of the places that fire is activated. So if I put that match into a jar where there's no oxygen, it's not like the match goes out. It just isn't able to detect any fire in the atmosphere. So we are surrounded by fire. The physical fire that we see is just bringing the unseen fire to the visible fire. But the fire is always there. We can always light a match. We can always do a bonfire. And these things are going to just show us where the fire is in the atmosphere based upon the chemical combustion system that we're creating, i.e., bonfire, or, um, they used to have the fires over the pits and things of that nature. Wherever there's air, there's fire. So, in reference to Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, we're talking about unseen gifts that are there. But, like, are you going to transfer them to the unseen to the seen? So, Chiron is a womb. You're probably doubly outside of this particular energy. So, whether you're connected to people or you're doing what you're doing, so you're talented, you can sing, but you signed a contract with extra shady records. You thought you was shining with Eminem, but he spelled his name M and M, and he was white. I mean, he was a black dude. And you thought you was signing to Shady Records. He's like, no, this is extra Shady Records. You like, I thought I was signing to Eminem. He like, I am Eminem. I'm M and M. You done signed on a dotted line already. And they taking all of your money. Just an example of how you can have all the talent in the world, sign a bad contract, and now now it ain't even about your talent. It's about you getting your rights back, you know. And then when you put yourself in bad situations, like think about your favorite artists who haven't put out music in a while. It's a certain level of, man, even if I do put this out, ain't nobody gonna like it. I ain't hot no more. Even if I do. So you will have so many different scenarios in your mind that would just play and play and play. So when Chiron is in the fifth house and you got this fire that is present, you can also take that energy and become like a double negative. So when you add in something that's a negative, it keep getting negative. So what leads into the fifth house from the fourth house is the emotional space. So in order to alchemize this emotional space, you have to alchemize it through your specific passion. So when we're looking at Leo, a person will say, "Well, Hood, I can't sing, I can't rap, I can't dance. I ain't never signed a contract. I don't never want to sign no contract. Hood, I don't even think I got a passion for real." Well, do you like having sex? Because before it was glitz and glam and skims and scams, it was the bedroom where all of that was the highlight for people for millions of years. So what I'm saying is Chiron and Aries is more or less sexual energy. That is the ultimate fire. And when you talk about pleasure, how many times is people going to clap for you? You be like, "Hey, you did a good job." Like think about people like Tamar Braxton and Keisha Cole and Mary J. Blige, right? They gonna they gonna perform well into their 50s, 60s for glitz and glam. Maybe they doing it for money, but at a certain point, let's think about what they're singing about. They're not making songs about singing into their 50s and 60s, okay? What are they singing about? They're singing about making love to guys for the most part. So, when you deal with the psychology of the individual, unless you're making a song about performing on stages and things of that nature, you're singing a song about love, relationships to a largely majority audience of women that are in that same frequency: sex, love, relationships. That within itself is the healing. But once again, we are in this society that's going to prioritize getting to the bag, taking care of yourself, thinking about the finances, and then sex being this casual experience. It's not that many songs that women are singing about how they love getting they back blew out. It's a few, but it's not a whole catalog of thousands of songs of women talking about having one night stands and things of that nature. In general, we're talking about a deep sacred pleasure that is cultivated, which is the healing. sensual, passionate, foreplay, kundalini, breathing, looking in each other's eyes, spending time together. Now, in reference to Keisha Cole, in reference to Tamar Braxton, in reference to Mary J. Blige, they've all tried to be in public relationships. Like, cause that's what it is about, you know? And society is going to shut that down in individuals, especially if you got Chiron in the fifth house. I'm pretty sure it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't need that shit. I tried that shit in my 20s hood. I'm good. I'm good on love. However, we're dealing with Chiron in Aries, which is a fire resonant, and we're also dealing with the fifth house, which is a fire resonant. This cultivation of energy is already present within you. So, what we're doing is self exploration. What are we carrying in from the fourth house? What feels good to you? Have you explored pleasure to its full veracity, or have you shamed pleasure? You get into a space, I got my job, I got my money, I got my house, I got my car, I got my rose, right? Or have you dealt with, because once again, we're dealing with Chiron. Chiron, if we want to deduce it and we want to go across the board and we want an easy answer, when you selfish, you going to create a wound. Meaning that if you don't share your primal energy and your pleasure, or even open yourself up to receive pleasure in a one-on-one, one-on-two, however you get down basis, you're going to be stuck on the outside looking in. And the reason that I have these types of conversations is because most people are on the outside stuck in. Most people not on the particular frequency of pleasure in this realm. We trying to shut it down. We don't really know what it's like to feel good in this life because we only know how to be obligated to our bills and our responsibilities. But within every single person, there is a flame, there is a passion. And at an emotional level, this flame is joy. So you go into work with your supervisor and they mean as hell all day, every day. Mean at 3 o'clock, mean after we punch out every single day. They're not in tune with inner pleasure. And they can't share inner pleasure with their wife, with their family, with their kids, nothing, because it's not within them to offer it. So if Chiron is in Aries and is in your fifth house, and you are trying to manage how you feel, find it within yourself. Figure out what is joy to you. Joy is an inner process. Start sharing that joy with people that come around you, more or less. You in a relationship, share that joy with your partner. You have children, share that joy with your children. And when you get in tune with your sexual energy, you also in tune with your creative energy. Sexual, creative, spiritual, it exists within the same spectrum. It's called Kundalini. And activating your Kundalini through the modality of joy, from a lesson from Cancer. Does this feel right to me? And jumping into it. Because when you look at people living life and exploring and enjoying life, you're on the outside looking in. meaning that you can be on the inside looking out. And that's Chiron and Aries in the fifth house, cultivating that inside energy. So, for those who have been listening and paying attention, let me know if this is making any sense. As we are working through Chiron and Aries through the houses. Right now, we are on the sixth house that is ruled by Virgo. And we're breaking this down into three parts: how the energy rises to the surface, how you begin to heal that energy that rises to the surface, and then looking forward with the energy as a healed individual. So, the sixth house, Chiron and Aries, being ruled by Virgo. Virgo deals a lot with your daily habits and um, your daily work habits or your daily service. So we are in this world, right, where if somebody said, well, why you work at this job? What's the average response? For the money. Very rarely do people work at a place that they feel is connected to their particular spirit. So when you are working for the money feels good, the money looks good, and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to quit your job. You're going to keep making that money, but we're also dealing with an emotional disconnection, a spiritual disconnection. And if you keep playing, it'll be a mental disconnection because, dementia and Parkinson's disease, all of these things are normal things that we experience in this society because we are disconnected from source. We're doing what we think we should do, and we're not doing what our soul is instructing us to do. So, if you are the person that have Chiron and Aries in the sixth house and you're doing the same thing every day because at first it seemed right, but now it seems like you're completely out of control and losing yourself, you have to institute daily rituals that are going to be pertaining to your overall. What is the fifth house giving us from the sixth house? What is the sixth house getting from the fifth house, rather? The sixth house is getting the ability to connect to joy and infuse my joy in my work. So, in reference to a life worth lived, you started something, you loved it, it went on for years, and over time, you've forgotten what you love about what you do. Get into this space where you're able to reconnect to that. Get into this space where you're able to understand the modality of service and put yourself into situations where service fits your personality. Another way of saying that is do things that you love to do. Give to people that you love to give to. So, whereas you're working around these people and they might be not of your race, they might not of your gender, not of your class, and you're giving to these people and they're receiving what you have to offer. They're paying you a lot of money, but that's like, when they say the black dollar never stays in the black community, right? It just goes to other communities. Like black people help Chinese people out so much by going to their Chinese food stores and the hair and the beauty supply stores. And the reason that I say that is because when you have Chiron in the sixth house and you're out of the space of service to where you feel wholesome at, that's the same thing. So if the drive is only about money, it's not about your soul, you're gonna lose your spark and you're gonna lose your joy. You're gonna have money, but you won't have no spark and you won't have no joy. So quit your job? No. But rediscover daily rituals such as going to the forest, such as instituting exercise time, workout time, meditation time, to whereas your life is not consumed around this thing that is only there to drain you. And they drain you of your source energy and replace it with money, but money is not source energy. Money is good. It helps you get houses and cars and clothes and all of the fly cool shit that you want, but it is not source energy. So when you are in a space where you're a sixth house and you love to serve and you love to show up, that's what they're getting. Now, over time, what does this look like? This looks like you getting your ducks in a row. It's like you are making sure that your energy is being utilized in the way that you want to utilize it, because what have you learned from the fifth house? You have learned from the fifth house and the fourth house that quality of inherent value and worth. Inherent value and worth, of course, they're going to pay you a lot of money, but it is whether or not you want to pour into these people or not. More or less, getting into the bare bones of the sixth house, what are your principles? And I'm gonna talk about this later in the week, but we have to really get clear on our principles, what we actually stand for, and why we're doing the things that we're doing. Because you can't just say, I'm doing this for money. Because when we start talking about spiritual development, when we start talking about emotional healing, mental health, it's going to put to the back burner because now you got to get to work. I got to get to work, hood. I got to get to this money. The spiritual stuff is going to have to be there when I get there. But at the same time, how many jobs have you been working in this past 9 years? So you've been loyal to somebody who willing to get rid of you at the drop of a dime. But that's a whole nother point. So okay, this is my chart right here. Quick little refresher. My Chiron transit Aries is going to be in my seventh house. So I got Pisces in my seventh house and I got Aries in my seventh house. So if it was in this area of Pisces, it would still be in my seventh house. However, I got Neptune and Saturn in Pisces conjunct my Lilith. I got to do some research on that ASAP, right? um Pisces. Well, it's in Pisces, but it's in my sixth house. So just because it's in a particular sign doesn't mean that it's in that particular house. This is why you look at the chart, figure out first of all what sign it's at, but then also what house it's in. Because it can be in a sign, but also be in a different house. I hope that makes sense. So the seventh house is your house of relationships. And you have to ask the question, why are you attracting the people that you have been attracting? Second part of this, you can't be mad at the people that you attracted. Third part, you gotta be mad at you and you have to change yourself. Because Everybody that's being attracted to you is based upon how you are. And if you want people to respect you or to love you or to pour into you or to um show up for you in a way, whatever the case, I don't know. Whatever you want people to be towards you, you have to heal that within yourself. So, a good thing to do is reference your mindset. How do you feel about yourself? Because Chiron in the seventh house is related now, because now we're doing whole sign astrology a little bit. Shout out to Ava True from last night. The first house and the seventh house are related in the space where the first house is how you're received, and the seventh house is how you're received. It's the relationship portion of reception. So if people know you and people experience you, they're going to treat you not how you treat them. That's the mistake. Seventh, Chiron and Aries in your seventh house, you're under the misconception that people treat you how you treat them. And that's where you're messed up. People treat you how you treat yourself. People treat you based upon how fucked up in the head you are versus how healed you are. Now, how do you wade this ocean or this river of confusion? Well, you taking lessons from the fourth house, fifth house, and sixth house. Does this feel right? I'm talking about your healing modalities, the way that you show up for yourself, the peace that you have within yourself, and how people treat you. Does that feel right? Do you let them know, hey, when you did that thing, made me feel uncomfortable? It ain't about them, it's about you. You feeling uncomfortable. Then you don't say nothing. You let them keep violating you. You're going to be mad at them for violating you. But guess what the problem is? You allowed it. So, Chiron and Aries, which is more centered into like a self heal, working on yourself to the point that people might not like you because you always focusing on healing and you don't never want to have a good time. Your healing might be a large ordeal, but understand it's a process. And it's like when you are healed within yourself, your relationship does show up. It could be the relationship you already in, or it could be a new relationship. The magic in Chiron being in your seventh house is that you can have any relationship that you want based upon how you feel about yourself. And all of the issues that you had with your previous partners, when you healing, guess what comes up? You don't even be mad at them no more. You'll be like, damn, I was really unhealed. That's what gave you the space to violate and disrespect me. When you heal, it's a certain level of respect that you have for yourself. When you have respect for yourself, the person loves you and respects you, and you are teaching, and it's like you are demanding the utmost respect because of how you carry yourself and how you understand life. And how you understand life is based upon the trauma that you work through. So in relationships, you got to be aware, because I'm going to tell you, I've been, I've Chiron and Aries in the seventh house. And it's easy for me to say people have taken advantage of me and blah 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 blah, but I've taken advantage of myself based upon my mentality, based upon my lack of healing, based upon my lack of alchemy. So moving forward, like I stated earlier, Chiron and Aries in the fourth house, eighth house, and 12th house, it really presents a profound, it presents a way for us to do alchemy at the highest level, because it is presenting a wound. And when you have a wound and you transmute that wound into a healing, that is alchemy. But at an emotional level, I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing to do, but I'm going to say it is the most available thing for us, because emotions are visceral in the space where we could recollect on the time that we felt overwhelming emotions on the positive spectrum or on the negative spectrum. Now when Chiron and Aries is in your eighth house, the wound is emotional and visceral, to the point that you might think that you're going crazy, like legit crazy, because what you're failing to understand is that everything in this world is spiritual. So when you're in reference to how you're going to move and operate in life and you don't have that spiritual foundation, which within itself is a relationship that you have with your higher self, it is a game plan, it is a blueprint for which every day you simply act it out. So you have thoughts and ideas within your mind that are not going to happen in one day. So therefore, if there are any idea in your mind, it should be a week plan, a 2 week plan, a month plan, a year plan, a 5 year plan. You have a 5 year plan. That's what else do you have? You got 5 years worth of shit to do. But when you wake up in this particular energy where Chiron is in Aries in your eighth house, you're under the assumption that how you feel in the negative space is your thing to do. So to obsess about this crazy feeling that you have, which within itself is a proof or a truth that spiritual is real, because you just existed doing your thing. Why are you even feeling this way? Something is pulling on you to bring it into your attention. Now, for eighth house, we're dealing with a relationship, a sexual relationship, and the thing about a sexual relationship is that these things present no closure. So, if Chiron is in Aries in the eighth house and the sexual relationships is at a high level, that is going to create the need for closure for every single one of those relationships. Therefore, unless you gonna go back to everybody you done bumped and grind with since you was 16, you have to develop another method for healing. And so we're dealing with emotions and we're dealing with energetics. We're not dealing with the literal. So the ways for which we begin to let these things go is by first realizing that we're holding on to a rope that's cutting our hands emotionally. Your mind, so emotionally, you don't have to be thinking about somebody to be tied to them, to be pulling on them, to be holding on to them. And if you ever pulled on a rope for a very long time, it is very painful. And so every time you have a negative emotion, that's like you pulling on a rope from the past. Now, those who are aware or those from the outside looking in can give you the solution easy. What they'll say, that rope is hurting your hand, it's getting heavier. The every day that rope get a little bit heavier. It hurt a little bit more. Every day you hold on to your past, it hurts. It weighs you down. It drains you. It exhausts you. The easiest thing that you can do in reference to Chiron and Aries in the eighth house is what? Let it go. Let it go. That's so easy and so simple. Let it go. Let it go and move forward. That's the healing. Now, imagine you got two scenarios in this thing. You can continuously move forward, holding on to that emotional rope with both hands, getting calluses and bruises and blisters. You wearing out your shoulders, your biceps. You just tired and drained of holding this emotional weight of the needing for closure or why did it happen? Why'd you cheat on me with Ray Ray? Out of all guys, why Ray Ray? Right? Or you could walk through life and not hold on to it emotionally. And once again, easier said than done. A few Bible verses, some deep meditations, a few ayahuasca trips. I don't know. However you're going to let go of the past, that's your commitment. That's your healing, not closure, not making it right. On the flip side, not getting a call. You know what, Jermaine? I cheated on you in 1975, and I'm so sorry I did that. Would you ever find a space in your heart to forgive me? You hanging up from that, like, I had closure, man. I feel good now. It is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. You have to. So, once again, the eighth house, which is ruled by Scorpio, is the house of alchemy. And we have Chiron presenting us with the negative energy for us to do alchemy. Boy, oh boy, that is the alchemy of all alchemies, isn't it? You here to do the work. What is the work? Ego purification in reference to negative past events that you hold on to emotionally. Once again, when you let it's like, well, Hood, what if I can't let go of my ego? Actually, you can let go of your ego. And when you let go of your ego, what is left? The only thing that is left is your pure essence and energy, your talent, your presence, your experience. And I like Chiron alchemy because you show up in stressful or tense environments at peace. It's like Dr. Dre, been there, done that, right? You centered and you showing up present, like you going on a date with a young lady, you there, like ready. Like I'm just here to know you. Like, when you don't do this work and you going on a date, you like, is you gonna break my heart? Like before you even order the appetizers, because my heart is fragile. I've been through a lot. My heart was broken. I haven't done no work to heal it. So just be real gentle with me. Like, no, we ain't going into 2026, you know what I'm saying, holding on to past relationships in the mode of dating. You go on a date with a young man and you like happy about it. Like, Like before the appetizers come up, you just like have a band come out play that India Aries. I am ready for love. Like you just ready, you feel me? Because you have done the work. You have let the rope go, proverbially. It doesn't matter. It's gone. You just right here. We right here. It's right in front of us now. It's peripheral. You know what I'm saying? The past, we don't got eyes in the back of our heads. It's gone. It's like Lot and is it Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah? Lot's wife. Don't be Lot's wife. Hashtag don't be Lot's wife. All right. Don't look back. We moving forward. We letting go of those emotional ties and energies that have held us back thus far. And we are ready to show up present with this powerful energy. And I love Chiron in these later houses because any energies in the later houses are more refined, much more spiritual, ready to take it to the next level. So Chiron and Aries in your ninth house, you gotta just, take a deep breath and just enter into the space of the now and be completely immersed in the now. Like I told my son this yesterday. He was saying something because he was trying to go play basketball. We was at the gym. I said something like, the only moment is now, right? Every moment you exist is going to be now. And he looked at me so crazy. I was like, why is you looking at me like that? He was like, you always saying something that's trying to break my brain, Dad. I wasn't trying to even think this deep right now. You got me thinking deep. But shit, that's the reality. All we got is now. And when you think about the fourth house, eighth house, and the 12th house, we have these emotional loops that play into mental, like emotional mental loops, have you repeating shit over and over again. And think about the life that you could live moving forward, in reference to not the loops, but just in reference to the possibilities. That's what Chiron and Aries presents to you in the eighth house, but also in the ninth house, because these houses really merge. Seventh, eighth, and ninth are one complete system of marriage, covenant is proverbial, marriage, Libra, covenant, Scorpio, and education, Sagittarius or Ophiuchus, but we're dealing with the house system. In reference to the ninth house, which is ruled by Sagittarius, which is like where Chiron is most comfortable at, where it is when you sit back and you really reflect on your life, what's going to make you happy and bring you peace, it's going to help people. It's going to teach people. It's literally a spiritual teacher. It's Chiron exemplified. So where you have it in your ninth house, you're trying to figure out God, religion, spirituality. You're trying to figure that out, right? So the healing, well, I'm sorry, before we get to the healing, is that you frustrated because you got a library, you got all the books, you got all of the knowledge, right? You know what you know. You got spiritual gifts, right? And it's all there. It's a pretty little package, but you're missing one key ingredient. You're missing one key ingredient. And that key ingredient is self-exploration. It is self-exploration, meaning that the understanding of knowledge in books, which is an excellent starting ground, is not the end all be all. It's literally the boost to bring you into yourself. So all of the knowledge that resonates with you is because it is connecting a dot, is like a matching point between your inner frequency and what you're reading on that document, or in that document, rather. The shadow to Chiron and Aries in the ninth house is that you are a spiritual leader or a guru. The wound is that you're not ready to step into that because you don't really feel that or believe that within yourself. You see it in others, you see it in your books, you see it everywhere, but you don't see it within yourself. So with all of that being said, get you a dashiki, a head wrap, and some crystals and an ankh, get you an Egyptian name, and run the bag up. Just kidding. Not really. But your ability to do self exploration, to see it within yourself, to believe it within yourself, is like, it's not a title, it's not a name, it's not in reference to what you wear. Shit, you don't even got to quit your day job. You can keep your day job and still be a spiritual leader and a spiritual teacher. But once again, where are you going to find this information that you're going to teach the world or the masses or your small community? Self exploration, right? Chiron and Aries, that wound that is coming up is the lack of self exploration, the lack of sitting with yourself and exploring yourself and figuring out who you truly are. You are trying to find it in other people, but you can't find it in other people. You can only find it within yourself. So this where it get real at. This where it get raw. This where you really have to say, in the space where I read that book from front to back. That was a good book. I took notes and everything. And now you got to say, I meditated from front to back. I took notes and everything. I have a whole lesson plan for my soul that I'm going to start my Patreon channel with, or I'm going to start this online course on this lesson that my soul have taught me. I got lesson 1 through 10, and I'm going to post YouTube videos and Instagram videos, and I'm going to help people like myself that's going through specific things, and I'm going to help them. Where you get this teaching from? Myself. How you do that? Self exploration. Okay.
So I don't even know where or how that happened. But I'll just go back over the 10th house and I'll have a timestamp and I'll check over and see and I'll edit it post live. However, what we're talking about is Chiron and Aries in the 10th house. Chiron and Aries, once again, is a fire sign entering into an earth house. So at one level, it has bred success in your life. And so, say for instance, it's a wound that you are running from so you can chase success. Now, the question is when you get to the top, how much higher can you go? And the third level is what are you running from in your pursuit of success? Because if you're able to remember what you are running from, you're also able to heal because you're not healing what you're running from by chasing success. So, what tends to happen with successful people that make a lot of money is that they utilize the money as a buffer. So, when you drive away from the city, the houses get nicer, the cars get nicer. It's almost like people live in a buffered reality based upon how much money they have. But if you are an individual and you are coming from a collective and you said, I'm going to be successful and that's going to solve all of my problems, then you are running from something under the guise of chasing success. Now, the key happens when you reach the top and you have to ask yourself, how much higher can I go? You can't go no higher when you at the top. So all of the things that you've accomplished, they're still not healing that wound. So Chiron and Aries in the 10th house, and you don't even have to accomplish things. I think the mental part is thinking that when I do accomplish these things, I'm gonna be straight. Now, think about Capricorn being the top of the mountain. And you can go to the top of the mountain to have success, or you can go to the top of the mountain to escape from whatever you're escaping from. It's bums on the top of the mountain, and it's people with forts on the top of the mountain, but they all at the top of the mountain for the same reason. Let's just think about LA. It's rich, stupid rich people in LA, and it's people that live in tents. And I'm not sure this is for everybody, but then you ask somebody like, why don't you ask your family for help? It's tied into the fact that they was trying to leave that situation and prove something to them by being in LA, and now they in a tent on Skid Row. Everybody in LA for the same reason. Unless you was born in LA, it's a percentage of people that's in LA that moved there from Tulsa, Oklahoma, some shit. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, trying to make it. And you get into so many new situations, so many new circumstances. You move to Atlanta, whatever. move to Florida, but everywhere you go, there you are. So, what is healing with Chiron and Aries in the 10th house? You got to stop chasing waterfalls like TLC and them. You got to stop climbing up mountains and be like, everybody, I climbed the mountain. And nobody is there to witness you say it. So you sitting on the top of the mountain, and there's people at the bottom of the mountain, which represent yourself. And maybe you want to climb a higher mountain, or maybe you didn't climb the right mountain. You going to have to get off that mountain, climb down, reconnect with yourself, reconnect with others. This would go back into the eighth house where we were talking about that rope that we're holding on to. Now imagine trying to climb a mountain holding that rope. It's easier to figure out where that shit is tangled up at, untangle it, and reapply a different approach, get a different team. So it's a good thing about you, Chiron and Aries in the 10th house. It's a good thing about you because you have climbed the mountain in the first place. And since you have climbed the mountain in the first place, that's a story. That's something that you can share with others. Oh, this nigga climbed the mountain before. So where instead of, like Virgo, you just showing up to places like you got the money, I'm there. Right? Now you much more intentional where you understand like, oh shit, I'm somebody that climbed a mountain. You know who is figuring this out? Professional athletes when they retire. A lot of them are getting into podcasting. And I'd rather listen to Paul George talk about basketball than Skip Bayless talk about basketball. That's just me. I know Paul George played basketball at a high level. I'm going to trust his opinion on the subject. I want to listen to Gilbert Arenas talk about basketball than Stephen A. Smith. That's just me. And I'm thinking that more professional athletes are figuring it out. And in reference to the things that you have done in life, like just like I don't know if Chris is still on here, but if Chris had like an artist podcast, I would tune in because I know Chris is really that he really did that. He really did it on a level that most artists really dream of doing it. And so if he ever had wisdom to impart to other artists trying to get into like real spaces with their art for real, um Chris could do that. And it's a whole bunch of people that I know that like are that have proverbially climbed a mountain that have then like whether they do it or not, right, is up to them. But you could see like if that person talked about interior designing, I would be all ears because she called at interior designing, right? She the one who did the event for Jay-Z and that thing, right? So whatever. So if Chiron in Aries is in your 10th house and you have accomplished things and you're sitting on the mountain like I've accomplished things, that's not how it plays out. You gonna burn out, dry out, you just be out there up by yourself, and you'll be one of them artists like, yeah, I used to write for Prince in 1984 or some shit like that. Like, who cares at this point? Like, what have you done? What have you been doing? I just been sitting on in my mansion, just you know what I'm saying. I just been sitting in my mansion for the past 20 years, and you know what I'm saying. I'm just coming out of nowhere. Well, I got this story about Prince. All right, he gonna go viral online. And he just gonna have stories about Prince. That's your proverbial mountain. So we got the 11th house to go and then the 12th house. Y'all been rocking with me. I appreciate it. Hopefully, y'all been able to like the video so far. And if you haven't, be sure to do so. Chiron and Aries in your 11th house. Once again, when we talk about 10th, 11th, 12th, to a lesser degree, 7th, 8th, and 9th, these particular houses have a higher vibration. So planets in the 11th house have a higher resonance than planets in, let's say, the first house, meaning your ability to transform, your ability to be what is like, an Avenger or a superhero is going to be found in your 10th, 11th, and 12th houses. Okay. Nothing wrong with first, second, and third houses. Those are very personable houses. Those are self mastery. And within those self mastery, once again, if we want to study whole sign astrology, there really is no difference between the fifth house and the 11th house, or the sixth house and the 12th house, first and seventh. They are together as one, but understanding one side is healthy, but then like studying your chart will help you realize some of this stuff. If you feel like, man, I want to get into my higher octaves, but I don't got nothing in my 11th, 12th, or 10th houses, well, study your fourth house, your fifth house, and your sixth house, master those, and then put those in a space where they show up as spiritual excellence. An example would be you got a stellium in your fourth house and you can cook real good. Well, take that energy and start a cooking show online. And then take that cooking show, put a cookbook out. And then, get on QVC in the one of those shows and just keep building your brand. Open up a restaurant, right? But it'll all start from your immaculate kitchen and your mastery of the fourth house, your ability to get recipes from your ancestors and bring it into this particular paradigm and realm that will bring you into a higher resonance. But for those who already have planets in the 11th house, it's already laid out for you. And so when you are having Chiron and Aries in the 11th house, that wound is centered in you being isolated. And so whatever you feel like in reference to that particular, so say for instance, Chiron and Aries is in your 10th house, which is like career success and all of this, and you feel unsuccessful as hell, then the mode then is for you to do alchemy in reference to knowing the fact that just because I feel this way, this is an inclination that I can be successful. So when Chiron and Aries is in your 11th house and you feel isolated and you feel like nobody likes you, the work is so you can be accepted. But one of the things that probably is plaguing you with this particular condition is that you have family members. It could be your kid's husband or immediate family, and you tell them about the shit you got going on, and they be like, "Okay, mommy, I hear you. But can we go to McDonald's? Can we get a 4 for $4?" And you like, "Baby, I just told you my wonderful plan that's going to save the world." I heard you, mom, and I'm very proud of you, and I hope it works out for you. But I think it will work out for you if you get me a 4 for $4 from Wendy's. I was just giving you good luck from my fairy realm or some shit. Like you know how your kids is. They gonna say anything and everything to get that damn 4 for $4. Anyways, so you feel like I'm giving you this idea, or this is about to be, we're gonna change it for us. And they like, no, mommy, it's going to change for you. So what is the healing with Chiron and Aries in the 11th house? Understanding who can receive your messages. Sometimes your household is not for your particular messages. And the thing of going through all of these particular houses, and if you listen to it all, if you want to be like cold at this astrology, you would take little bits and pieces from every single house Or you will find different areas like, damn, that applies to me a little bit too. Why? Because you have an 11th house in your chart. So understanding your 11th house and specific to Chiron and Aries is going to be traumas and triggers to make you feel like you're going to be alone forever. Nobody's going to understand you. The work or the healing is you have to find your tribe. When I say find your tribe, you have to find people that are going to be receptive to the things that you are saying or the things that you are feeling. And it's like, if you're able to find your tribe, and even if it's 2 or 3 people, meetup.com, Eventbrite, I mean, um, Google, or, going to the coffee shop. I don't know if like in y'all city they got coffee shops, like they got like a message board where people be like pinning different things, looking at shit. What do you like to do? Like figure that part out and then find people. Hi, my name's Shanae. I'm new here. Just checking out the vibes. Okay. Welcome, Shanae. We glad to have you here. And they talking your talk, walking your walk. Oh, I found my tribe. Now, what is Chiron and Aries in the 11th house superpower? Is empathy. Now, empathy, and when we talk about deep empathy, we're talking about the ability to connect to people so much so, right? That what they feel, you have the capacity to feel what they're feeling. That's your superpower. And when the group is feeling bad, maybe they need pizza, maybe they need donuts, maybe they need coffee, maybe they need inspiration, maybe they need motivation. But the alchemy in Chiron and Aries in the 11th house is you empathetically connecting to the group and figuring out how you can contribute. That is a valuable resource. That is a superpower. And if you're doing it for your kids, not to say, not to not do it for your kids, right? Be empathetic when it comes to your kids, but at a certain point, you are an adult and you need adults to resonate with you on an adult level. And y'all can like transform and change the world through operating as a group. The fucked up part about this shit, as I stated earlier, is trying to do everything by yourself. But the beautiful part, the courageous part of this particular energy is taking the initiative to find your tribe, or even better, depending on the person, create the spaces for the tribe to be curated and created. That's the courage. That's where I can't find no safe space. I can't find my tribe. I just got my kids and my husband. And my husband, he want to play NBA 2K, and my kids want to play Roblox, and I'm just sitting there looking at them like, "Damn, what am I supposed to do?" You like gardening? Start a gardening club. Open a community garden somewhere. Start doing research on opening community gardens, things of that nature. Nonprofits, 501c3s. It's a lot of things that you can do to create a world for other people to enter in that they could feel safe. All right. And I'm going through this and I'm not trying to like rush at all. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to give equal measure to each and every house. And if I skimped on your house, I do apologize. But you know, it's not the easiest thing to do. And that's why I think a lot of astrologers don't do it, because in order to have an astrological conversation, we have to be able to have the individuals reference their astrological chart and be able to read it. So that's what I'll be trying to do on my channel as much as possible for those that are beginners and those that are advanced. Be able to put this stuff together in a space where it begins to make sense outside of just dealing with astrology for glitz and glamour purposes. So, last but not least, we have Chiron and Aries in the 12th house. The 12th house deals with, one would say, spiritual development in a space where everything comes to a reflection point. So the 12th house is basically saying, for quick context, when people say, oh, yeah, I have a stellium in the 12th house or I have the sun and moon in the 12th house, those are the people like Dr. Dre. Been there, done that. All right. And so they not really pressed with humanity. They're trying to figure out something much more abstract or something much more arcane. So, with that being said, the wound comes up when you are Chiron and Aries in the 12th house, but everything you do is mundane. And 12th house has a level of perfectionist associated to it. So, you've done everything right. Everything you've been doing have been working. However, logical, fundamental, and mundane things are not spiritual things. So when you are frustrated because you've done everything right and done everything by the book, and you frustrated, right? This is the kicker. You don't even got no reason to be frustrated. You can't pinpoint it. This is where we bring you into spiritual development. So another thing that the 12th house is trying to do is trying to spiritualize everything, which is cool. But spiritualization is an inner process that manifests as an outer process, meaning that you do the work, you do the preparation, you do the rehearsals, and then you do the performance. If you ever tried to do something half-assed and rushed it, you would have known not to ever do that again. So therefore, you take your time and you cultivate it, and then you present it, and that's doing the inner work for the 12th house. Because most people who have a 12th house dominant or Chironic Aries in the 12th house, they might be your latest and greatest spiritual teacher that got all of the views and all of the clout. Now, y'all would have had to bear witness to the fact that, in reference to how long I've been doing spirituality versus to how many people get on here with downloads and spiritual this and spiritual that, they stop doing it because it don't make enough money to do it consistently year after year after year. You don't do spirituality to get rich or to make it in life. This is a 20-year process of doing the internal work, doing the study work. I prepared this article for like 4 days and presented it within these last 2 hours. I didn't just cut on my laptop and start yapping in reference to this information. So I say that all to say, when you are in the 12th house and you are, once again, we're doing alchemy and we're looking at this thing from a perspective in reference to, I've done everything right and it's still not making sense, it's still not working. Stop trying to do everything right. Does it feel good? Are you taking a negative and turn it into a positive? Do you meditate? Or let's do this. when wounds come to the surface, do you observe it without emotion, or do you act in a hurry to suppress it? What am I talking about? Are you an emotional eater? Do you practice in sexual acts with random people secretly so you can suppress a specific emotion? So you can do all of this stuff on the background, have a secret boyfriend on the background, have a sexually deviant life on the background, but on the forefront, you want to be a spiritual leader of some sort. You want to be a mystic, you want to be a goddess, so forth and so on. These things are natural manifestations when you do the inner work. The problem is we're not able to see the difference now because we don't know where these people come from. You just scrolling online, and then all of a sudden you see somebody, thousands of likes, thousands of views, got the aesthetic going on. Oh, he lit. So therefore, the 12th house is not creating a space where you could naturally develop into your spiritual work through experience, exercise, and alchemy, meaning the immersion of your consciousness into who you are spiritually. Because as I stated earlier, 10th, 11th, and 12th house, those are the rock stars in this Chiron game. Meaning that if you are able to transmute your wounds into healing, you will be able to look forward outside of your anxiety, outside of your fear, because you are a different person now. Your embodiment of your soul and your spirit is going to take you to a whole another realm in life. And I say this all like I'm just laying it out there. I pray that, these words and this information, it makes sense to you to the point that when you feel those wounds coming to the surface, you don't run away from them. You don't hide from them. You address your wounds and you heal. So Chiron and Aries will be transiting four to 8 years, give or take. So it's going to stay in this particular Aries energy for a while. So I say this all to say be aware of the things that come to the surface and have a modality for healing, whether it be meditation, journaling, counseling, something. But I'm saying this all to say don't sit on your wounds and suppress them and repress them and act like they're not supposed to be there. They are in reference to the things that come to the surface, they are supposed to be there. They are there so you can begin to do the alchemy or do the healing work and understanding that that's not the end. Once you are healed, once you transmute that energy, you then are to teach and assist people in the work that you have previously done. All right. So, whatever you want to teach, this should be the real work that you need to do. And it's real bad right now in these spiritual streets because niggas got AI and people is talking to you in reference to them doing stuff. And really, it's only AI that been doing it. And I just got the fortune to like be doing this spiritual shit way longer than AI had even existed for real. So, with all of that being said, just coming from that perspective just feels like a win. Because now people coming into the game with nothing but AI. You know what I'm saying? They accent AI. hey, am I a spiritual guru? AI like, yes, you are a spiritual guru. And nothing to prove it otherwise. So with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure you like the video, share the video to those who are interested in this type of stuff, man. The link will be in the description very shortly. This will appear on Substack, and I was sharing the article as I was going through it. That's gonna be on Substack as well. So make sure you run over there, subscribe. I'm gonna be doing more videos, more articles like this. I already got it set up to whereas I'm about to just work through some things. The next thing that I'm gonna be working through is Neptune conjunct Saturn. It's conjunction in Pisces. We're going to work that through the houses. So if you're into this type of stuff, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Join the Substack so you can follow and start working through your own chart, start working through your own transits and things of that. This video have been brought to you by whiterabbitsite.com. Please visit that site, check out the treats, check out the fruit, check out the nootropics. We have articles, we got worksheets, we got everything that you need in reference to taking your first psychedelic dose so you can be prepared. Got some other stuff in the works as well. So make sure you join the email list. If you join the email list, you'll get weekly access to discounts and things of that nature. If you enjoyed this content and you want to support an independent spiritualist, this is what I've done for the past 9 years, but I try to operate off of equal measure. Whatever I'm offering, I hope that y'all will receive that offering. And if it's worth anything to you, $1, $2, $3, you can send that to my Cash App, which is $Hood Mystic 38. But with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video and was able to pull from it. Because man, because like I said, I put a lot of effort and energy into my work. So I just hope that y'all are able to see that and receive that and apply these lessons in your daily life. This has been another edition of the Shift Report. I am your host, the Hood Mystic, and this is where shift happens. I will catch all of y'all on the flip side in the next video. Make sure you join the Discord. If you need any help with this, be sure to upload your screenshot, ask any questions. If I don't help you, somebody will be there to help you. Everybody there is on point. So join the Discord, join the Discord, join the Discord. See y'all all on the flip side. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective.
Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? See, we all got some pain to deal with, even you an angel. That's why we handle Chiron in the first deacon of Aries. Where is your first wound? What are you doing to heal it? Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. This is DJ Occult Metaphysics, and you're listening to Woke Radio 36.9 FM. Today, we've got the Shift Report with the Hood Mystic. Today's topics, Chiron and Aries through the houses. Remember, we're diving deep, so make sure you got your scuba gear. But first, roll up your favorite party favor, tell the kids to be quiet, Hood is about to go live. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your favorite nephew. We about to go in. This is the Shift Report, where shift happens.